All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. Three people, or you see more. Okay. Demystifying gay porn. My name is Ike Grande. Um, this is the second session of Q&As. It's not on? I'm live. You must be on a delay. Um, okay, perfect. So welcome to Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the second session of a Q&A for the season 4 finale, and I did not do my best job promoting this. So whoever is out there, you're welcome to ask any questions. But I felt like I needed to do something like this to kind of give a proper farewell to season 4. So I'm here. I know there's only 8 of you out there at the moment, but I just have to tell you from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I appreciate your support. I appreciate everything that you've done regarding watching, subscribing. That always helps. We're near 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm hoping season 5 takes us to 100,000. Phil, thank you very much, Phil. I appreciate that. So yeah, anyway, I am here for any questions that you guys have regarding season 4. I'm going to talk a little bit about season 5 and what's in store. And yeah, whenever there isn't a question online, I'm just going to go ahead and read from comments that people have made on the podcast. Sometimes they put questions in there as well. And it is 5 o'clock, so wherever you are out there, cheers. Mm. All right, let's do it. Ba, 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 ba. But before, while I'm actually talking to you, I just really quickly want to tell you about season 5. So season 5 is basically going to deal with the 80s, and yeah, it's going to be very similar to how I structured season 4, except it's going to have more structure because I learned a lot from going through season 4. If you're familiar with the podcast and the channel, it took about close to 3 years. In January, it would be 3 years that I started the podcast, the history podcast and channel. So um, it took a while, but it was a lot of learning in process or learning in progress. And now I'm basically going to focus on making season 5, 12 episodes that are history episodes, 12 episodes that are podcast episodes with interviews, and 6 episodes that are open lines that include just your everyday anonymous average people talking about fetishes and kinks that they might have. So that I plan on having out in January, almost the first week of January. So I'm going to be doing a lot of research from November to December and trying to just get everything in the can so that way I don't even have to think about it. The only thing that I probably will have to spend a little more time on is interviews. There's 2 already shot, and I have 10 more to go, but those are on location, and those will probably be shot as they happen, and then they'll go up as scheduled. Okay, so we have a couple of hi Stud Howard. Thank you. How are you? Thank you for being here, Thomas. So Rob asks, what kind of stories from the 80s are you hoping to highlight? We're going to be talking about the porn stars. We're going to talk about what ends up happening in the 1980s in the gay adult industry, just like uh, the adult industry as a whole, is we start getting um, the star system, let's say. So now we have people who are now superstars, no longer iconic or included in iconic. But the thing is that there's so many people now because in the 1980s, everything becomes the industry that we know now, or the start of the industry that we know now. So we're going to be focused on a lot of directors that came out of there. Some of the movies, some of the biggest movies that came out of the VHS era, and stars. So that's what a lot of the 80s is going to be about. And the way it's going to be shot, it's going to be shot on a 1980s camera. So that's going to be fun. I've been tinkering with one of those cameras already. Ba-ba-ba-ba. The 80s hold a lot of joy and a lot of pain in queer history. What are you preparing to handle, or how are you preparing to handle that thoughtfully? Oof. Okay. So there's no denying, or there's no getting around the fact that the 1980s are going to have to be or deal a lot with AIDS, and most of the models that I do cover, or I am going to cover, have are no longer with us. Um, there's no other way to cover it than just the way you have to. The thing is um, I think from my perspective, growing up in the 80s and 90s and having like AIDS and HIV kind of over my head my entire lifetime, I always, my perspective has changed because it was always like you thought these guys were dirty, or they were whores, or they were sluts, or no. I've met a lot of people that just had sex once with somebody and just happened to get HIV or AIDS. It was the wrong person. Um, the stigma that surrounds it is no longer in my head, especially for these models who just happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong place and time at the wrong time. So I plan on covering it from that perspective. Like these are just guys who were in their peak, or yeah, in the peak of their careers, or in the peak of their lives for the most part, and were taken away from us. Kevin, love the series. Been watching since the beginning. Was worried you were done with this. I've missed you. My question is, can you do a deep dive on Jeffrey Stryker, who was a huge star back in the day? Well, I am going to do a deep dive on Jeff Stryker. Not a I. So for the last podcast, um, or the last Q&A session that I did, I am going to talk about Jeff Stryker. I would like for it to be more in depth, but I'm going to just scratch the surface with him because Mr. Stryker has his own story to tell, and it's for him to tell. What I want to do is highlight his contributions to the industry, and then go from there. But would I like to do an in-depth thing for him? Absolutely, when he's ready, if he wants to. But like I said, he has trademarked his whole thing. He's got his own thing. I think he's working on something with Spotify or Audible, actually, and I wish him well. But I will do something on him. Cheers to that. Mm. But thank you very much for your question, Kevin, and thank you for your support. Thank you for watching since the beginning. I hope you like the video podcasts, or the video essays. All right, let's see. Let's see what's going on here. And you'll have to forgive me. Sometimes, I get a lot of these questions on in the comments section, and I do go through them. And I haven't done a Q and A in such a long time, but here I am. I love it. A lot of them are corrections on how I say things, which I love. But that's just how I talk. Sorry. Jerry Douglas, Zeppelin, the Indigenous. Okay, let's see. I One of the questions that I answered in the last Q and A session was, where do people find a lot of the movies that are being highlighted because they are vintage? My What I would recommend doing is going to Bijou World, because they do a great job at archiving, or are holding on to an archived catalog of films, and it's like $9 or $10 for movie, but it's worth it just to see it if you really do want to support them. So yeah, so head over to them. Um, Frameline, I think, has a whole bunch of stuff, but you'll find them, and then just put the name in Google, and it'll come up, and you can probably watch it for free. But a lot of times the quality is not amazing, so I would recommend going and getting a good version of it. Let's see. Can we please get an update on Alex now? Alex Tikas. Okay, I know last I heard of Alex Tikas, that's a question that was in one of the episodes that I did, where it's season 2, episode 12. I did an interview with Alex Tikas. Alex, from last I heard, was in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, and he's doing content down there. But I will find out. A lot of times I run into these guys on location. So let's see if any of you guys have any questions. I'm all ears. Any comments? Was he gay? This is a question from the Rick Cassidy essay. Rick Cassidy, I think, was just like trisexual. I'm not sure. Um, he did do a lot of mainstream adult straight films, and he did a lot of gay erotic films. So was he gay? I don't know. He could have been. He was gay while he was doing those scenes. That's for sure. Let's see. Second film, a movie, personal life. Who hasn't heard of Toby Ross? I understand. I know sometimes I label these things because I want to make sure that um, uh, it's like a reintroduction for some people and an introduction for people that don't know them. But yeah, no, of course, I'm going to say you. What was it? Uh, every time I do it, I'm like meet Toby Ross or meet so and so. It's just a formality, let's say. This is such a unique channel. I really enjoy it. I even bought Jovan Joseph's book after seeing his interview. Thank you for helping me get off. Oh, thank you, McCarty. I appreciate that. Yeah, that was a great interview. Yeah, he's a good guy. Wrangler 411. Will most of the upcoming interviews be people from the 80s or people working now? So it's going to be a combination of both. For instance, one of the biggest directors that comes out of the 1980s is Chichi LaRue, who I've spoken to. And that episode and um, any other directors that are around now that were in the 80s, it would kind of be an interview slash mini bio, which is I've wanted to do for a while. I've been toying with the idea of doing, so that's going to be something that I'm going to focus on. Um, and then I'm going to interview people that are around now. Rob, in your opinion, what stories or subcultures from the 80s that are rarely talked about but deserve space? What stories? Uh, I've done minimal research, but I do know that uh, Latin, Black, Asian stories are not prevalent in the 80s, but when they are, they're like not to say stereotypical, but they are used as exploitative, if you ask me. Um, they are labeled in certain ways, like Asian persuasion and shit like that. Like they're labeled in ways that kind of give you an idea of what you're going to get. But you also have to keep in mind that's been happening in the 90s and the 2000s and stuff. So this is all stuff that if you're selling a fantasy and that's part of the fantasy, that's what you get. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm. Do you want there to be better than boppy thugs or stuff like that that comes from the 90s? Sure, but there are people who really enjoy thuggish guys doing, having sex with other thuggish guys. So I can't fault for that. However, there's definitely some titles that are suspect for sure. Hello, I'm glad you joined. Oh, look at that. Hello, Champ Robinson. Very, very happy to have Champ here. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. All right, so Paolo, there seems to be a lot of chemistry between the actors in your films. Do you put guys together based on their preferences, or do you just have a knack for pairing them? So when I do casting, I if it's somebody that I've worked with already or I have a rapport with, what I do is I already know what kind of guys they're gonna like. Um, and then I send them pictures. I'm like, hey, this person's new. What do you think? Are you interested? And yay or nay. And that's the best way to work in my opinion because I've worked with people that just go there for the money. I've worked with people who actually enjoy having sex. The people that enjoy, I don't think I have to say it, but the people that enjoy having sex on camera with somebody else are the best people to work with. And I've had instances where two people that are brand new to me, sending pictures back and forth and just seeing who's going to work well with someone else. And sometimes you get an amazing scene, but predominantly at this point in my career in gay porn, I will not, or I do not want to work with people who uh, are not into each other, because at the end of the day, we are all like, when I go in that room and I'm shooting that scene, I am also a part of that scene. So um, whatever comes out of that is a collaboration for a studio that I'm shooting for, but I'm also a part of that scene. And that's how I take it. I have to take it that serious. So if the scene's going to be shitty, I walk out with a shitty scene. If the scene's amazing, then you're constantly going to be associated with this, at least in my head. Let's see. So glad to be a part of your finale. Thank you very much, champ. Okay, so Joey Stefano, I think that's how you spell his name. Huge in the early 90s, died of a drug overdose, sadly. He was super hot, by the way, looking good and healthy yourself. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, no, Joey Stefano, absolutely. He's going to be featured in the 90s. Um, and that's, I was saying in the other session that I had that I have folders already created for these guys. So I am working on uh, getting these uh, getting these out as soon as I can. Okay, so Wrangler, if you're looking for broader Black historical content, is there any chance you can do a deep dive into Black Forest Productions, an 80s label that wasn't around long but did more than thugs? Absolutely. Um, Black Forest Productions, I will absolutely take a look at that. What makes a scene feel authentic to you? You can almost tell immediately the minute the guys walk in. If I'm setting up my camera and they're already going to town, I'm like, awesome. And I don't stop them. I'm like, just keep going. And then I'll turn the camera on and I'll join in afterwards. But that makes an authentic scene to me, for sure. It really comes across and makes the films fire. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Paulo. Anyway, what time is it? 5:25. Cheers to that. um, let's see. I'm gonna read a couple more off, but you guys know um, I'm here and I'm watching the live chat just to see what you guys are saying and what you guys want to ask. Let's see. And I promise next time I'll be a little more focused on marketing and promoting the fact that there's going to be a Q&A. Greetings from Washington, D.C. Love your content. Thank you very much, Ricky Chadwick. I appreciate that. And I may be in D.C. at some point shooting, so I love D.C. D.C. is great. Somebody asks about the Armand Rizzo interview, season 1, episode 24. Where is our boy now? Armand, I think, is living his personal life. He's doing his thing, happy. So that's always cool. In a different career, he might still be doing stuff. I'm not sure, but um, as my friend on Facebook, I can see what he's doing. So, Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. I cry every time I see this film. Story of my life. I'm curious as to what this is from. I don't know, but I love getting those comments when people are watching films and remember. Oh, okay. So The Experiment, great film, by the way. If you haven't seen the video essay on that or the film, I absolutely recommend it. Joe Gage, I cried. That's a great video essay. I loved doing that episode. Glenn Steers, not familiar with him, but somebody asked me to look him up. Men Were Hotter in the 1970s. Could have been. I'd love to know why Aiden Flynn thinks that, but that's great. I love that. I love the corrections. The violence makes for a tacky film and degrades us even further. Oh, the collection. That's right. Well, while I'm waiting for another question, I just really, really, really quickly want to I know I mentioned that season 5 was going to be about the 1980s and new content was going to be coming out in January. Um, Through December, I don't know if you've noticed, but for season 4, one of the last things that I introduced was um, fluffers and quickies, and those were born out of the fact that sometimes when I'm researching models and stars and directors or films, there isn't enough information behind the scenes, written or researched, that warrants making an entire video about. So quickies was made so that way, like let's say there's a star that was really big, but nobody really knows a lot about him. It's basically made to just give him a tribute, show a little bit about him and what he did, his movies and stuff like that, and go from there. Fluffers is about 3 to 4 minutes. That's when usually there's a little more information about a model, a film, or a director, and still give them like give them their due. Um, so those are going to be released predominantly in December, just because I want to have a little bit of a lead in for what's going to happen in January, and I'm very, very much looking forward to for the next season. Yeah, for those of you guys out there that are just joining us, thank you very much for the 18 of you. Um, yeah, I love it. You guys can watch me drink then. By the way, behind the scenes, I have Erection helping me. He's monitoring who's on. I think he is. He looks like he's on TikTok, but he's monitoring. He's monitoring who's in the chats, making sure I don't miss any questions, because a couple of other times I've absolutely missed questions, and then I have to go back, and he's going to be helping me with production for next season. And yeah, thank you. I appreciate your help. At this point in your career, what keeps you emotionally invested in this work? Uh, it used to be money. I'm not gonna lie to you. It used to be money. While I was working to do documentaries and short films and films, what keeps me motivated? I have to have some kind of creativity in my life, no matter what. And I think that this allows me to be as creative as possible and as free as possible, uh, no matter how silly that might sound. But it's a motivation for the next thing, or the next stepping stone, or this is a stepping stone for the next thing that's going to happen. And yeah, I mean, there's stuff in the horizon, and there's stuff that's being worked on, like narratives and stuff. And I'm talking to Paul Morris from Treasure Island, who's interested in doing more stuff that I am interested in. Um, so I don't know, the motivation really comes from. I think the podcast absolutely helps motivate me, because I do, as I mentioned before, I do struggle with, not on this Q&A session, but in another one, I struggle with what I do, because I don't want to dumb down, or don't want to feel like I'm dumbing down anybody. And I know that porn gets that rap, and any kind of porn, just spending a good amount of time, or a lot of time, um, 4 or 5 hours, these people who are called gooners, I get it. That's your thing. Fine. No hate, but I don't think it's healthy to spend 4 or 5 hours sitting around a computer jerking off. So I don't want to feel like I'm contributing to that. And part of the reason for doing this podcast is to also educate on why we have these rights and where we came from. So it does help me, and this does motivate me to continue making porn. Do you plan on making collaborations with others like Matt Cullen? Matt Cullen, if I'm not mistaken, is the guy on YouTube who does. He has a YouTube channel. He's very popular. Um, I mean, sure, I'm open to collaborations with anyone, but I don't even think I'm on his radar. And he's a little more. he's doing a little bit of everything involving gay stuff. I want to focus strictly on uh, game porn stars because I feel like this is the platform to do it. I know that there's other people doing it. There's younger guys with younger porn stars and stuff, but the history of gay erotica and gay porn is what I would like to focus on, and I just want to stick with um, gay porn entertainers and gay porn stars. But yeah, no, if you have his number, tell him I'm available. Let's see. So would you even do a production like where the guys don't know one another, meeting for the first time, like from the 90s and the early 2000s? I would. It just depends. I have to have complete confidence in one of them. I've had situations where you walk into a room and these two people are just not into it. And that's the difference between somebody that can do it or somebody that's, dare I say, a professional and somebody that's not a professional. Um, yeah. So I don't know. I think as I get older and as I get older doing this, I don't want to waste time. I don't want to walk in and be like, will they, won't they? I want to walk in and say, do what you got to do. Let's make it look good. Um, and smile for the camera. uh, well, now I can't wait till January. You made my day. I know it would take a lot of time. Just don't get material like DGP, and you do this well, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much, Kevin. I absolutely appreciate that. It does take time, but I enjoy doing it. I'm not going anywhere until I am done with the 2000s. After that, like there's other things I do plan on exploring. I'm going to talk about illustrators. I'm going to talk about basically everything that I can up until mainstream film because I know that there's a lot of 50s and 60s new wave films or films that are European that do deal with um, homoerotic issues in a better way than we did here in the States. So I am going to get to that point. But right now I'm solely focused on erotica and gay porn from now till the 2000s. And then I'll eventually come back and I'll do the 2010s, but not right now. I think that that's still being molded. Get Dawson. I actually just Rye. Who is this? Rye F E. Oh, Ryfert, something like that. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Um, I just spoke to one of the guys at Treasure Island to try and get Dawson's info. So that might be a possibility. I would love to. I would love to interview him. Rob, what do you think viewers watching porn are looking for now that they weren't looking for 10 years ago? I don't know. Everything changes. Everything, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's just like I watch porn nowadays, other studios and stuff, or I watch models and watching some of the things that they do, like like they're getting a blowjob and they're like, oh yeah, 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 just looking at the camera and raising like armpits and stuff. Like, what are viewers looking for though? I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to really think about that. I know that mm, I guess it depends on, and it's not really a fetish, but I think it depends on the studio, to be honest with you. Like the studio I work for, I know that the people want grimy, they want all that stuff. And the funny thing is, I give them the minimal amount of grimy. I don't want to watch and I don't want to shoot felching. I don't want to, if people do it, I'll record it. But I'm not this. It's funny because I've before I started working for Treasure Island, I didn't really watch their catalog, and when I did, I would watch it like this because it was just so like I couldn't do it. I couldn't. Um, but I respect what they do as a studio because they push boundaries way further than a lot of people should. That wasn't big 10 years ago. I don't understand what you mean, Paolo. Um, What now? I don't know. What do you mean, champ? I know what I want to get into. I know what I want to see. I want to see more, less people looking into cameras and more people just um, kind of being into the person that they are that they're having sex with. That's the weirdest thing to me ever. To watch people look at a camera while they're inside of somebody else. I can never get around that. Like the idea of it. Call me crazy, but that's just something that I can't understand. But it's the nature of the business. Now everybody has a camera. Everybody's a porn star, or trying to be a porn star. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Let me look at a couple more questions over here, and see if I can illuminate anybody. Paolo, my other comment must have not went through. I said I think cum dump type scenes seem more popular now, where at least for me, I didn't see a lot 10 years back. Cum dump scenes, like one person sitting down and um, getting fucked by strangers and then leaving. Okay, gangbangs definitely. Cum dumps, anonymous pump and dump and stuff like that. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I think that life is imitating art because I don't know if you've ever opened up that Sniffies app, but whenever I'm in a different city, I think we were doing a promotion on Sniffies, and I was like, "This is great," but I forgot where it was. I think I was in like Philadelphia or something like that, and um, every single block was hosting a pump and dump. I was like, "There can't be this many people, lying down or face down, ass up, waiting for 20 people to walk in and fuck them." I just, I don't, I yeah, I guess you're absolutely right, Paolo. um, yeah, no, the pump and dumps are interesting. Setting up a pump and dump feels a little inauthentic, and sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. But if it's inauthentic, fine. I'm more when I do shoot them. I prefer the controlled environment. Like you have to be able to know what's going to happen. You don't want any live wires. And that last comment you made about looking into the camera, they're looking into the audience and saying, "Don't you wish that was you?" Okay, okay, yes, I get what you're saying, but there's a limit. I feel like there are some times where while they're making out with the person, they're looking in the camera. I can give various examples of that happening. And I think it's the younger guys, and that's fine, but I don't know. I worry what that does. I really do. I worry what that does to like your sex life. And that's a question I'd like. Champ Robinson, as a porn model, how does what you do on camera have an effect on what you do, or how does it affect, or how does it um, inspire what you do in personal life? I'm going to turn that question around on you. How did the rise of OnlyFans and independent content impact studios? Good question. And I've mentioned this a couple of times. I think that studios were in the mindset of ending careers before careers were meant to be ended. So by that I mean when I was with Dark Alley, we would work with models, and once, and I don't know who would put this expiration date on them, but once other studios weren't working with them anymore, the minute or the idea of hiring them was like, oh, that's ridiculous. We can't work with them anymore. That's it. They're done. So studios absolutely brought this upon themselves, and um, OnlyFans, which started as a channel that was only for fans of people who were doing instructional videos and cooking shows and stuff, became this juggernaut that it is today. And they kind of brought it upon themselves. I'm shocked that another studio didn't think of it. And quite frankly, I'm not gonna lie to you, I have text messages from 2014 because I wanted to do something. A lot of these models I was still in contact with, and they still had fans. They still had people that were willing to pay to watch them. They didn't have an outlet, and OnlyFans created this outlet, and Just for Fans created this outlet. So, do I feel bad for studios? No, because they didn't take advantage of the just like. And here's the kicker. Just like they were taking advantage of every other situation, they didn't take advantage of this situation. I don't know the kind. I don't like the third wall broken, and I want to feel like a fly on the wall watching a real hookup. Okay, that's a challenge. I can do that. I would love to do. Um, I would love to do a scene. I actually have a series that I would have been wanting to do for a long time, and I'm not going to mention it here, but it definitely involves cameras, and then just watching it from somewhere else while everything is happening, not giving a lot of direction, but having all your bases covered when it comes to coverage, like camera coverage. Weifeld. Ah, Dark Alley. Those were the days. Whatever happened to Matthias von Fistenberg? Matthias von Fistenberg, he is he's retired. He's retired von Fistenberg now. He is in he's living his life in Brooklyn, and yeah, um it's almost time for my yearly dinner with him. But yeah, no, he's good. He was at the time I was there, a great company to work for sure. Taught me a lot of things, and um, yeah. Anyway, so it's 5:45. I'm going to spend 15 more minutes on here answering your questions. Um, Again, this is just practice. I'm getting right back into Q&As and stuff. I am going to put forth my best foot and my best effort to do more Q&As so that way you guys can speak to me. And I'm going to try and do them right after an episode premieres so that way everything is nice and fresh in your head. But I am so grateful for 50,000, almost 50,000 subscribers. Do I wish it was more? Absolutely. Is it going to take time? For sure. But from season 3 to season 4, to go from 3,000 subscribers to 49,000 subscribers, I feel like that's amazing. And as I mentioned in the other session of Q&As, I don't really have a lot of haters, and I'm very, very grateful for that. I don't want a lot of haters, so I'm not trying to invite that over here. So knock on wood. But yeah, no, I am very appreciative of it. Yeah. I don't think Champ Robinson's answered my question yet. um, will Pony Hunter be making new Treasure Island movies? I don't know. See, this is how bad I am. I'm not. I don't even know who Pony Hunter is. I'm sure. I think he's a. I don't know if he's a model or a director, but that's what working on location and working out of not in San Francisco. What ends up happening is I don't really meet a lot of the other directors, and we're busy doing what we're doing. So I'm not watching, and we all have our network of models and stuff that we enjoy working with. So I don't really know a lot of what's going on with other directors and stuff. I try to make it a point to do so, but it's a lot. It's a lot of work. With the industry being saturated, what qualities have you seen make a performer not just successful but sustainable in the industry? Business. You have to have it has to it's not even just the whole package of like, face, body, ass or dick depending on who what you're going to do in the industry. You have to have if you don't have a business mindset, you're not going to succeed. Um, and I see there's a couple models that do it well. Some of them, I'm not going to lie to you, just got really, really lucky because they were at the right place at the right time. But that is the formula for success: is being in the right place at the right time, um, and and having a certain knack or a skill for it. So I will say that. Um, if you do not know how to handle the business of adult entertainment by way of I'm not just talking about casting and talking to models and promoting. I'm talking getting your paperwork in order and knowing what you want, what that end goal is, then I don't think you're going to succeed. I think it's very easy for somebody to say, well, it's easy money. I know how to do this. And it's not. It's not easy money. I can't think of, well, yeah, no, I can absolutely think of things that are harder than having sex in front of a camera for money or putting it up to have people watch it. But um, yeah, I do think that it's hard. It's harder than people think it is. So, and then you end up getting people that think they could do it and they put like 6 months into it and not really a lot of integrity with their content or product, and then walk away with it now being splattered all over the internet, or not even all over the internet, but your stuff is going to always be out there no matter what. Thank you for that question. What a great question. Anyone else have any questions? Please, by all means. All right, let's see if I have a couple of other ones. All right, Kevin, let's see. Hold on one second. Yes, I'm texting. Okay, hold on. Sorry. There we go. Kevin, this is a great series, and it's a rare topic people don't discuss or do deep dives. I'm glad you are. Thank you. Also, thanks for helping me get off many, many times. Love that hook. Looking forward to what's to come. Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know where that hook came from, but at one point I was like, okay. And I know I was saying it and not really putting the emphasis where the emphasis belonged because people are like, what does that mean? And I was like, don't you understand? But I also speak quick sometimes. And whenever I was doing that, I would say it in a way that people didn't understand what I was saying. There was even somebody, I can't remember where, but in the comments, he's like, oh, I can finally watch the show again now that I know what you mean. I was like, really? Okay. All right. Sorry. My cadence when I speak is a little quick, so I apologize. um, anyway, all right, guys, you have 9 more minutes. If anybody has any questions, please, no matter what, I will answer. They can be they can be personal questions. If you want to ask personal questions, I don't give a shit. um, but yeah, while we're waiting, I do want to thank you again. Thanks for being here today. The next Q&A I will do will be more promoted, so that way people have a little more time. I am looking at a couple of ways, or actually I'll look at the analytics and see what's the best time to have a Q&A. I know that there's a lot of European viewers, but a lot of guys in the United States watch it. So, and if you did miss the Q&A and you did have a question, I will answer it at the next place. Most favorite interview, Calvin, the most favorite interview I've done, ah, there's a couple. I gotta say, off the top of my head, the Sean Duran interview, just because I watched it the other day, was fun. Because Sean's one of those people where every time I met him, I was incredibly intimidated by him. Because he's got this larger than life personality, but he's such a sweetheart. And the first time I did it, I walked in just being like, okay, well, I'm about to interview Sean Duran, and we had a really, really good interview. And then we did a second interview, and that was fun too. I mean, we have differences in opinions, but I feel like it showed how you can still have a difference of opinion and still walk out as friends, and I think that's very important, especially now. So yeah, so Sean Duran, Apollo Fates. I'm trying to think of a couple of other ones. Um, I've enjoyed a lot of them. There's very, very little ones that I don't enjoy, but or like there's only a couple of them that I do not enjoy. But that was That was a good question. Thank you. Let's see. With Champ in the room, what's your favorite Champ Robinson story? God, there's so many. um, oh man, I don't know. There's a lot of them. There's stories where I poke the bear, and then I find out that you shouldn't poke the bear when you're at a bar and you've had a couple drinks. Um, there's I gotta say one of the best ones was in between Dark Alley and Treasure Island. I In between Dark Alley and Treasure Island, I did shoot for Champ Studio, and it was a parody of the Black Panther, and we shot it outdoors by this awesome waterfall that one of our friends introduced us to. And it's usually a 20-minute hike, and it's in Pennsylvania, and there was a huge hurricane, and I I remember messaging my friend and being like, "Oh, hey, do you really think that we should go?" "Oh, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it." The hike in that usually is 20 minutes was 2 hours because there were trees that felled, and it was it was chaos. It snowed, rained, and I forgot what else. But basically, every single weather situation that you could have was there. And Champ is a Southern boy, right? And we had to at one point cross no, dude, cross a river. Like it was like a rapid. And I have video of it. I'm gonna put it up online. It's amazing. I've never heard a big butch man scream so womanly, so so daintily in my life, and it was amazing. So yeah, that's one of my favorite stories. Crossing a stream to get to a shoot that took 20 minutes and then 2 hours back. The Austin Wolf situation, were you surprised? Nothing surprises me at this point. Uh, I didn't know Austin Wolf. I never worked with him, but like what a situation to get in. Like I know people, and I remember reading the story about it and stuff. I don't know enough. I don't know the person, but it's fucked up. Like I can't grasp or understand the idea of um, being attracted to anything other than men. For me at least, for men or women when young ladies when I was in college, experimenting. But I'll never understand how or why people think that. I mean, I know that because the whole thing, if we go deeper into the Austin Wolf situation, there are people. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is Nambla. There are people that do think that they can, like psychologically in their head, they think that they can have a relationship with um, minors, but I don't understand where that disconnect happens in their head. There's a lot of great documentaries on the subject because it explains, or if you do enjoy like the psyche and the psychology of how people think, especially when it comes to stuff like this, like fetishes and stuff, because that is unfortunately one of the philias that are out there that is a fetish. Um, yeah, no, I don't know how or where that happens or like where the disconnect is. So there are some that you didn't enjoy. Spill tea, Paolo. I will not spill the tea, but yeah, no, off the top of my head, there's probably been two or three that I've sat there and I said, "Oh my god, get me out of the room," because um, and it's mostly when models contact me, and I mentioned that in the last session how there's definitely been times where models reach out to me, and when they reach out to you, you have to wonder whether or not they actually want to have a conversation or they just want to talk. What am I having to drink tonight? This is a gin martini, straight up, lemon twist, no vermouth, and that's about it. I have to go to a wedding, so I've been like on a keto diet for the past week. Your Apollo Fates interview and Benview were really enjoyable. Yes, Benview is another one. He's great. Quite nice to know there's more to men than the industry. Thank you. John Matthews, message retracted. Oh, okay, it's here. Oh yeah, that's right. Allegedly, I have to. What's this guy's name again? The guy, Austin Wolf. Allegedly, whatever. Um, that was my lawyer. Is the future of gay adult entertainment positive or negative? I guess it depends on how you look at it. Honestly, I know that's a shit answer, but I'm thinking about it. If it's up to the OnlyFans creators, with exception to a select few, I think it's negative. But that's I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily like studio productions where people are there for 12 hours and there's shitty acting and lines just because you're like, well, what I make is different. No, like if you get two people in a room and the chemistry's there, awesome. The more authentic it feels, the better. But I don't know, call me crazy, there's just something about, unless it's like, remember xtube and like watching that authentic stuff where somebody just put a camera somewhere and they weren't making money off of it, that was hot. But now if you put a camera up there and you're expecting to make money off of it, I don't know, there's nothing sexy about that to me. So it depends on who the future the hands the future it depends on whose hands the future is in, whether or not it's negative or positive. Do studio films still make money? Yeah, studio films still make money. There's Studios still make money because there are people who don't want to go on tube sites and try and find what they want to get off to. So they know that something is tried and true, and they've gone on and they've gotten off. So they'll pay $10 to $20 to $30 to join something monthly if they are into the kind of porn that they produce, and they know that it's a quick fix, because the last thing they want to do is be on an XTube site, or not XTube, a Pornhub site, and search for what they like for 4 hours. You know, it's kind of like the same reason why I feel like some people get escorts. Like, why go out and try looking for it when you can just pay for it and you get what you want, and in an hour you're done. um, anyway, it's 6:01. I'll be on for 4 more minutes. If anybody has any more questions, I am more than ready to answer them for you. If not, yeah, again, I'm just going to take this opportunity to thank you very, very much for doing or for being on tonight, um, and for supporting the channel. I absolutely appreciate it. Um, if you want to join the Patreon, shameless plug, um, demystifying gay porn on Patreon. I talk there, kind of like I'm talking here, but I give stuff to people ahead of time. I'm not especially amazing at putting stuff up. Um, well, what I do is, if I'm covering a movie or something, I'll put the movie up so that way people can watch the movie so they know what the next subject matter is. I do give them the scenes maybe 3 days or 2 days before, or the videos and the video essays 3 or 4 days before in advance. But a lot of the people that have joined just really, really want to support, and I absolutely appreciate that. I might start a subscription based thing on YouTube. I don't want to, but it absolutely does help. Yeah. I think studio membership is worth the money. John Matthews, you are right. John Matthews, your Patreon is also worth the money. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, John. I hope that that you do get pleasure out of that. I appreciate it, and I am planning on getting more stuff up there. I have a whole bunch of behind the scenes footage. I have some images and stuff that I would like to do. Another thing I'm working on is compiling a book of images that I have made or taken throughout my time with Dark Alley and Treasure Island that I would like to put in a book and offer that self-published or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff. I'm not going anywhere um, for now, at least. I still got, in my opinion, a good 5 years of doing this before I decide that I want to move on to something else, or something else comes along um, sooner rather than later. Yeah. One more question, anybody? Are you worried that YouTube may censor discussion in adult material? Absolutely. They already do. And in the last Q&A session, I did mention how we got the channel got demonetized for, I would say, 3 weeks to a month, and it didn't deter me from doing it. But what it did was just kind of frustrate me because uh, I had to appeal, and the appeal was very much based on the lines, and everything I said was true, and I felt it. I just don't know why they needed to hear it from my mouth, but they accused the channel of being uh, only good for sexual gratification, which, if you watch a lot of the videos, they're done in a tasteful way that shows everything that you can show on YouTube, especially if it's a woman. So, uh, yeah, I had to fight them and say that this is more culturally relevant to gay people, or more accurate to gay people and gay lives and the gay community from the 60s and the 70s and even the 80s now, than a lot of what mainstream Hollywood films were showing, and how they stereotyped gay people, they made fun of gay people. And here are gay people or gay artists making stuff that documented gay people, gay artists, and the gay community in a way that was more accurate to life. Yeah, true gay history. You're absolutely right, John. So so I'll always fight for that because it's the absolute truth. All right. If one more pops up, and who knows, you know what? I might have a cocktail later. Maybe I'll come on afterwards. Who knows? I did set aside this Saturday just for doing some of these Q&As. So this is the third one. Like I said, I will be back. I will do another one um, sooner rather than later. I won't wait a year, I promise. And thank you guys so much for all of your support throughout the years. If you've been with Demystifying Gay Porn since 2019 when it started, uh, all the way back then when it was just interviews, I absolutely appreciate all of your support. And if I missed any questions, or if you have any questions, or you missed this Q&A, please put them in the comments. And the next Q&A I have, I'll answer them, or I'll answer them right then and there. Other than that, thank you so much. I absolutely appreciate all of you guys. And yeah, season 5 coming up soon. All right. Cheers.